Hey everybody, Cody back with another Proto Tech Tip, and today I'm back with a new design tip. I'm going to go over the proper orientation of your closed corners in SolidWorks. So here at Protocase, we help keep your projects moving by manufacturing your custom sheet metal and CNC machine parts in 2 to 3 days with no minimum order ever. So our goal is to make things as easy as possible. You can use our free design software called Protocase Designer to make custom enclosures, brackets, or panels, or you can start from a CAD template that you create in our CAD template generator. But for many of you, especially if you're well versed in mechanical design, you often create your part design from scratch in SolidWorks. So we've covered lots of design tips in our Proto Tech Tips, including overriding bend parameters and using the end condition feature. But today, I want to quickly go over the proper orientation of your closed corners. So closed corner is used to close up any gaps on adjacent flanges. So we've done a Proto Tech Tip on this previously, which we've linked to below. A closed corner allows for a much more aesthetic looking corner and can also be adjusted to what we call a half lap to allow for better penetration while seam welding. However, if you have multiple closed corners on one part, it's really important to think about how they should be closed over in sequence. So as a general rule, short sides should always overlap the longer sides. The reasoning is simple. It all comes down to the sequencing of your bends. So when we bend a part, we typically have to overbend it by a very small amount to account for spring back. This springs your flange back to 90 degrees. So on a part such as this, if you can imagine bending the short sides last, you're going to crash them into the sides of the longer flange. So in order to do this properly, you must bend the small flanges first and then finish with the long flanges. So why not bend the long flanges first and reverse the closed corner orientation so the long overlaps the short? The answer comes down to how many times you want to change your tooling setups on your machine. So it's always ideal to try and keep tooling changes to a minimum to reduce cost and operator time. So in this particular instance, we can set up the tooling lengths to be as long as the longer flanges are. This will ensure that we'll have enough tooling set up to do those two large sides last. If they were reversed, we would need to remove the tooling from the break, apply the new section of tooling in to have the right length. So at the end of the day, we're here to make the parts you need so that you can continue your prototyping and product development. By heeding this tip about the orientation of your closed corners on your design, our engineering and design services team will need to spend less time making adjustments that need to then be reviewed by you before we can manufacture them. The faster we can get your parts into production, the faster they'll be in your hands. So that being said, our team is always here to help. If you have questions or want to discuss your design, contact your Protocase account manager. So thanks for watching this week's Proto Tech Tip. See you back here next week for another one.